alluded to a couple of minutes ago, Spurs in the Premier League brought back down to reality after beating Manchester City at the weekend, losing 1-0 to Burnley with a Ben Mee header in the 71st minute even. But the game itself wasn't any of the talking points. It's Antonio Conte's comments afterwards.
What is it with losing to Burnley that just really kills managers' belief in themselves?
I have no
He
idea.
realised that this is the most Spurs thing ever, right? It's not even a joke anymore. This can't be
100%.
joked about anymore. It's more of a state of facts that the complete culture that just surrounds Tottenham Hotspur Football Club. Of course, they beat the team at the top of the table and then lost to a team at the bottom three. Do you know what it is about Burnley away after beating Man City at the Etihad? It's like the worst hangover that you can imagine.
Oh yeah, it's like you've gone out the night before, you've gone on a load of drinks with your mates, and then you realise you've got to get up early because it's your wife's mother's birthday or something like that, and you've got a screaming child in your ear, and that screaming child is Burnley. That's possibly the weirdest analogy I've ever said.
Your Burnley hatred just gets darker, doesn't it?
I think people have seen over the last year or so of our podcast how much I hate Burnley. But yeah, back to Antonio Conte.
Someone's just waking up from the celebrations the night before after beating City. It's like, next fixture, lads, who we've got to prepare for, and then it just comes up on the whiteboard. Right, lads, Burnley. I was like,
Fuck's sake. Yes, but Antonio Conte's comments after the game, he sounded like he wanted to be sacked there and then.
He practically said it without saying it, didn't he?
Yeah, he's like, we've lost 4 of our last 5 games. I don't think I'm good enough to do this. Everywhere you go, the coach is always changed. The backroom, the back staff of the coach changes, but the players never change. And you're like, Antonio, are you wanting to be sacked? Are you just wanting to wake up to a P45 from Daniel Levy in the morning?
I'd almost walk up to him and be like, welcome back to the Premier League. Because that's English football for you. Like, we know Antonio Conte can be outspoken towards higher-ups at a football club. That's his way. He doesn't mince his words at times. Was this, do you think, perhaps more of a threat towards Daniel Levy? Just him saying, don't give me what I want, I'll walk.
I think he would even walk. I mean, we spoke about it in text after the game of, if they lose this weekend, I wouldn't be surprised to see him leave.
There's also figures that I remember the January transfer window. They wanted Luis Diaz, didn't get him.
Mm-hmm.
They wanted Adama Traore, they didn't get him. Did they want Bentancur and Kulusevski, or did he want them specifically?
I don't know whether he wanted them, or was it a fact that they'd lost 4 players and it was closing the last few days or so, or even the last day of the window, and they were like, okay, we know that Fabio Paratici has a good relationship with those at Juventus, obviously, just leaving them.
It's almost as if he weren't there.
Exactly. So I think it's one of them where there's no surprise that he went after them players, like we said, considering those Juventus ties. But I don't know what to make of those comments from Conte. Like, he does seem dejected already, and he's been in the job, 3 months?
Yeah, it was just so out of the blue, a little bit. The thing with Spurs, we said it. There's a culture there at the moment that it's the Spursy way. Until a manager actually comes in and changes that culture, it's not going to change.
But I don't know, how do you change that, or what needs to happen to change that? Because it was breaking under Pochettino, who obviously is a world-class manager. You bring in Jose Mourinho, again, another top manager. He can't seem to do anything. Nuno Espirito Santo comes in for 100 or so days. He can't change it. Conte's already struggling. They've gotten 12 to 14 years without a trophy. I don't know what it is, but something at that club needs to be changed, and I don't know what it is.
Yeah, it's also a bit of a claim you can make. Does the culture relate more to Daniel Levy rather than just an overall Spurs thing? I don't know how long this has been like a thing, really.
Mm. It's quite strange how long this has gone on, and you can obviously we don't follow Spurs that intently because we're not Spurs fans, but we see enough of it, and there does seem to be some cultural change. Whether it is Daniel Levy needs to move on from the club, will be something that remains to be seen. And I don't know whether Joe Lewis, who is the majority owner of Tottenham Hotspur, would do any changes, because I feel like them two are very close friends. So I wouldn't expect to see a change anytime soon.
But you wouldn't. But they've got a manager that can change that culture. Like Antonio Conte is a top quality manager. We saw him do that with Inter.
Yeah.
Look what he did. Went in, installed his vision, they won the title.
Yeah.
Simple as that. But so like Antonio Conte needs the support as well from ownership. He needs to know that he's working with someone that he can work with.
Yeah.
And that doesn't just mean the owners, right? It means players, as we've seen.
Yeah, and I feel...
Does he want some of this lot? Probably not.
Yeah, and I feel like that's the stubbornness of Spurs.
He needs the fans on his side.
Mm.
Needs fans on his side as well. And I mean, I haven't seen any not backing him. I'm pretty sure they're all behind him right now.
Yeah, but you know what football's like? It's a very strange game, and it wouldn't surprise me. I genuinely think if they were to lose this weekend, I wouldn't be surprised if come Monday morning you'd heard that he's resigned.
Yeah, and this weekend they play a pretty simple opposition, very straightforward. That's Leeds.
Yes,